Chapter 2. One at a time, please. I have never once sought out a friend. They have always come to me. If left alone, I just default to my inner world, which I prefer anyway. If, however, someone takes a special interest in me and they feel non-threatening to me, I oblige them and emerge from my turtle shell of safety. I figure if someone does not seem interested or make the first move, they are not in need of my attention. If I feel needed, I will serve as long as I am not socially burnt out at the time. People have said they feel drawn to me because there is this refreshing purity and non-judgmental energy around me. I don't try to do it, but it happens anyway. In kindergarten through first grade, there was a girl I was friends with, but I honestly don't remember much about her. I just remember she was nice to play with. We remained friends until my family and I moved away for a year to be closer to where Dad's family lives. Second grade was interesting because none of the kids tried to be my friend. We moved again, back to the region we were in before, and third grade seemed better for me. A girl who lived 2 houses away from us became my friend, and we had a great time at each other's houses, until the day I told her who my crush was at school. She decided we should ask him which of us he liked better. I had a nervous feeling in my stomach because, 1, it would pit us against each other, and 2, it would be confronting a boy I liked. Confrontation and competition have always been uninteresting to me. I followed behind as she walked over to the ball field our crush was playing on at recess. She asked which of us he liked, and he said he liked me a little bit. I blushed and smiled at the ground, but my friend said, "Come on, Julie, we're leaving." She was so pissed, so much so that she dumped me as her best friend soon after that incident. I believe it was the very next day. Ironically, nothing ever came of that crush or the dozens of other crushes I developed over the years. It was probably for the best, since I would not have known what to do with a boy anyway. I spent the next few weeks sadly moping around the playground, feeling extra low since my ex-best friend had taken to teaming up with my own brother to make fun of me on the school bus. Not long after that, she moved away, much to my relief. I had trusted her with a precious secret, and as a result, lost her as a friend. By the time 4th grade rolled around, I had a new best friend, and she never tried to compete with me for a boy. This was a good sign. I went to her house a lot. She told me all the plots to movies I wasn't allowed to watch. As we entered 5th grade, middle school, together, and integrated with kids from other towns in the area, I felt safe knowing I already had a friend. Not long after we started 5th grade, everything changed. The popular kids liked her, but didn't give me a second look. It was all spelled out for me, literally, in one tiny moment I will never forget. Our desks were set up in groups of 4. My friend and I shared a desk group with 2 other popular girls. I saw they were all writing their letter S slanted with a point on the top curve, almost making it look like a 5 without the top line. It was clearly the newest cool thing to be doing, so I started writing on my own paper the same way. With a loud giggle, my friend reached over and erased my cool S and replaced it with a regular, boring, uncool S. I knew right then and there I was out of the pack. And true to my gut feeling, she drifted away from me over the following few days until the in kids had completely absorbed her into their group. At home, Mom remarked on how well I was taking all this, especially as it was my second best friend dumping in a row. In truth, the hurt was being internalized along with the family secrets. I spent the next year alone at recess time. I would either sit and twirl slowly on the swings or sit on a large boulder at the bottom of the hill by the school doors, half enjoying the silence and half feeling sorry for myself. I just didn't know what else to do. This was around the time I started throwing things away from inside my room at home. Dad's reaction was anger and yelling. Mom's theory, which I agree with, was that I wanted to be able to control something, and it made me feel good to be in charge of anything I could. To this day, I cannot stand clutter or to keep something I no longer use. It's a minimalist way of being, and it calms me to have things organized. The less stuff for my brain to have to keep track of, the better. Shortly after the start of 6th grade, a bubbly girl with curly ringlet hair asked me to play hide and seek with her and a few other girls. I almost said no, but something made me get off my boulder and participate. Ringlet girl became my new best friend until the end of high school. We have naturally drifted apart with different lives and locations, but she was my first long-term friend who did not judge me or dump me. For that, I am thankful. In high school, we had so many crushes that we used a color code. We ran out of colors, so we had to use metallic elements too. Her main crush was red and mine was blue. This way, we could talk about any of them in public and no one would know who we meant. It was genius. It got us a lot of funny looks, but we didn't care. We were boy crazy. Neither of us actually snagged a boy, which is good because all we had was each other, and if one of us got a boyfriend, the other one of us would have felt very left out. If the boys had been after me, I am certain I would have been taken advantage of pretty quickly, so I have no regrets about the "you shall not date until college" rule set by my parents, even though I thought it was ridiculous at the time. I used to pray to God that a handsome young man would come along and sweep me off my feet, and we would get married and stay happy and perfect forever. Then I would visualize it all happening in my imagination with the help of romantic movies' kissing scenes I had stored up in my mind. I have always had one primary person at a time in my life. Obviously, the first was Mom. Then each best friend that came along when I started school. If I have one, I don't seem to have room for another one, so if I am in a romantic relationship, other friends seem to lose importance, if I even had any to start with. I just cannot socially juggle it all without feeling overwhelmed. My social meter runs too low if I am spread too thin. This is probably because I put all of myself into a relationship. It's all or nothing. I have noticed recently that if I'm in an easier job situation, I can hang with a secondary friend about once a week if they seek out time with me. I also tend to adopt the friends and social gatherings of my primary person. I sort of just go along for the ride. There is a whole other type of friend, my favorite, furry friends. When I'm at a house party, I look for them right away. They don't need words or prolonged eye contact to connect. They are natural. I have realized in the animal world, prolonged eye contact is usually an act of aggression. That is probably why it makes me so uncomfortable. Also, when an animal is in shock, it's stunned and does not move. It's the brain's way of preserving basic functions, only until homeostasis can be re-achieved. I believe my brain does a similar thing when overstimulated. My face goes blank, and I am incapable of social interaction until I feel rested and calm again. I love all animals. I love the docile ones the most. There's even something about the word docile that calms me. I also love the healing powers that almost all animals exude. All of nature has it too, with peace, stillness, and beauty simply being itself. I do not feel the desire to own an animal, however. I have in the past, and to me, animal ownership represents more work, both in cleaning, bills, and time. It also keeps the animal cooped up instead of in nature. Since I prefer simplicity, any extra responsibility is something I normally avoid. It's just one more thing for my brain to have to deal with. More stimuli, more sharing my own space, which to me is sacred. For these same reasons, I have never craved having children of my own.